What did your child do that you weren't allowed to be proud of? I got called out by other parents at church last Sunday. They said my 6-year-old son was being rude and wouldn't stop bothering the grown-ups. When I got there, my son Tommy stood in the church hall, still in his Sunday clothes, looking mad, not sorry. The other parents seemed really upset. Turns out Tommy had this best friend who was 50 years old. Our neighbor, Mr. Bill, who owned the junkyard next door. They were real friends. Bill taught Tommy how to use a wrench, let him take apart old car engines, and even let him sit in an old pink car on blocks pretending to drive. Bill had no family and Tommy had no dad, so they talked about everything, like how to be a good man, why you should wash your hands, and where to keep your tools. Bill got cancer and was going to die. He told Tommy it wasn't his fault and that he would go to heaven. But Bill made Tommy promise something important. He didn't want doctors putting chemicals in his body after he died. He wanted to be buried normal in the ground so he could go back to the earth, not be a poisoned pickle. They even talked about being scared to die and what happens when you're gone. Well, Bill died right before Thanksgiving and the ground was frozen solid. It was a holiday weekend and no gravediggers could work. So after church, all the adults met in the social room and decided Bill would have to be embalmed with chemicals. Tommy heard this and got really mad. He went to every single man, one by one, and said, "You can't do that to Mr. Bill. He'll be so sad being a poisoned pickle in the ground." The men told Tommy to be quiet, but Tommy said, "I'll dig the hole myself even if I don't get to eat pie." Tommy kept asking and asking, making each man feel terrible, until 12 grown men in their best church clothes went to the graveyard with shovels and dug a grave in the frozen ground. A Catholic priest even did the service for Bill, who was Protestant, before anyone went home to eat turkey. I had to try not to smile when the other parents said Tommy was being disrespectful and interrupting adults, but I watched my little boy fight for his dead friend's last wish and make a dozen men do the right thing, even when it was hard.